Essentially Sports. My name is Shreya, and today we have a very special guest with us joining from the bodybuilding world. He's a former IFBB pro, Mr. Universe, Mr. Olympia icon, and hands down one of the best bodybuilding coaches in the world, Milos the Mind Sarcev. Welcome to the show, Milos. Thank you so much for taking out the time for us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, I've seen some of your Essential Sports interviews, and I like it very much. There was one little misinterpretation. Somehow you got information that I coached Mr. Lee Labrada and Bob Perry,
Yes.
which was not correct, because those are the guys I looked up to. They're older than me. They competed before me. So this is why actually I made initial contact. Yeah, look, I'm a bodybuilder for 40 years, and of course I coached over 40 Olympia competitors. But I just want to make sure that people understand I did not coach Lee Labrada or Bob Paris. They're actually kind of my idols.
Yes. I think we should just, debunk this wrong information once for all.
Yeah.
We are seeing this a lot on the internet.
Yes.
And we're all...
Yeah, I don't know how. You see, people just assume, because I did
Yes.
coach, like I said, over 40 Olympia competitors. So
Right.
if you follow the sport, I competed from 1991. And Bob Paris and Lee Labrada, they started competing in the 70s
Yes.
and 80s. So,
Right.
anyway.
Yes, but even if not them, you have competed, coached one of the most prominent names in the sport, and you yourself are a legend. So how's it going? How has bodybuilding world been? You currently, preparing bodybuilders for Arnold Classic. So what's going on?
Yes, right now for the Arnold Classic, I have only one competitor, Samson Dauda, but that one can,
Yes.
and I hope will take the show. This is my breed. I believe that bodybuilding is much more than just muscle building. I love the shape,
Yes.
aesthetics, proportion, balance, and Samson Dauda
Yes.
is actually a combination of all that. So I want to bring back the beauty of the 90s, the times that I competed with the guys like Ray, Flex Wheeler, Ronnie,
Yes.
Chris Cormier. So I do think that the trend of going just for muscle mass, more muscle the better, it's not the right way to do it. And I hope
Right.
with this Arnold Classic, when Samson Dauda presented his physique, they're going to consider him as the best bodybuilder.
Yes, absolutely. Samsung is looking very, huge and very interesting. And I just saw one of the transformation pictures he just posted of, from yours. And he looks like the change is so drastic and so incredible. And kudos to you also for working on him so tough. And just to re-bring what the point that you raised, I think I read somewhere that you said that Nick Walker, you said something about Nick Walker that he has the winning factor, but you don't think that it should be considered over shape, aesthetics, completeness and balance. So if you could just tell us a little more from your perspective on that.
Yes, you see, the people, when I say things like this, they take it in negative connotation, like
Yes.
I have some animosity towards Nick, whatsoever.
No.
I mean, I competed, throughout the years with gentlemen like Marcus Rue, for example, who was dramatically much more massive than me. He was much bigger, much thicker, more muscular, but I was being able to beat him because of the connection of the shape, aesthetics, and everything. Nick Walker, is up and comer that is young, very popular, and he gets in a crazy condition. And if you follow
Yes.
bodybuilding, crazy condition means being super lean, having no body fat, and then accomplishing full intracellular hydration and least amount of extracellular, so you have the dry, defined look.
Yes.
So by that definition, Nick Walker is big, but when you look at the balance, upper body, lower body, it's not nearly where it's supposed to be. shape-wise, aesthetic-wise. He doesn't have that V taper, full round chest. Superman cartoon character look. And I mentioned in some of my interviews, everybody in the world knows the superheroes. Do we want a Superman or a Hulk? So Superman is the epitome of just perfection of a human muscularity. And Hulk is more massive, but it's not put together, the way it's supposed to. Unfortunately, right now, there is a trend that they say open bodybuilding, contrary to classic physique, should be predominantly bigger is better, and I never believe that bigger is better. I think that better is better.
I agree with you. I even saw one of the Arnold interview where he said that, bigger is not better always. And one of the examples that we saw was Big Ramy, who all of us wanted to win. But Hadi Choopman ended up winning, and I think that was one of the examples where bodybuilding world is, I think, correct me if wrong, shifting to more into conditioning, more into what you just said, more into superheroes than Hulk.
Yes. I mean, I love Big Ramy. He's a friend of mine and one of the nicest gentlemen you can ever meet. And he was Big Ramy, and that's why he was winning. He was bigger than anybody, wider.
Yes.
So it's overwhelming, like big Ronnie Coleman back in the day, and big Dorian Yates, and big Jay Cutler. So it was, a logical choice. But along the way, in 2021, you could see that a lot of people started talking about Hadi Choopman's completeness and superior conditioning. He was really slice and dice. He had those muscle separations and striations and tie-ins and super thin skin, which Big Ramy didn't have. So we didn't know how this was going to play last year. They told Hadi's coach, Hani Rambo, that they want him bigger. So he brought him about 10 pounds bigger. But it's really his conditioning that prevailed, and that's why he won. And I love Hadi. I mean, all the Iranian bodybuilders, they're hard workers. I have one of the top pros, Betis Tabani, who qualified for Olympia. And you see, unfortunately, people don't understand. Some athletes from different countries don't have an ability to come to the United States and compete. And you guys are from India, right? And
yes.
I'm going to tell you, I love India all my life. My father was raising me with Mahatma Gandhi's theory and his autobiography. When I went to Delhi and Mumbai a few years back, and I went to Mahatma Gandhi's museum. It was very, very special to me. And when I was there, I visited some gyms, and I've seen Indian people, actually. I'm still hoping and waiting when it's going to happen. They have a good genetics for bodybuilding if they would eat correctly and train correctly. So there are little things that need to be tuned in, but human physiology, we all are flesh and blood. And I heard they're like, Indian people don't have a superior muscularity and genetics to make muscles. No. It's not like this. They just need to really increase their protein intake and train specifically. And I think that soon we're going to start seeing Indian top pros. Like we had, if you watch, they start coming from Egypt and then from Iran and the Middle Eastern people, and then now Asians. I was visiting in China back in 2018, and now there is a lot of Chinese and Korean. So I'm just waiting to see when more Indian people are going to come and compete at the Olympia level.
Yes. Thank you so much, first of all, for whatever you said about Indians. I am sure this is going to inspire many bodybuilders in India now, and we'll definitely take this message forward to them because India loves you. I've seen so many Indian bodybuilders interact with you on Instagram, and I'm sure this will motivate a lot of people. And whenever you come to India, we would definitely love to meet you as fans of bodybuilding, of course.
There is
Talking a little more.
yeah, there's possibility.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
There is possibility that I might come in India in July. I'm working on something, yeah, and yes, Indian promoter friend of mine, he's planning, but I'm not going to set the dates or anything, but please watch my Instagram, and when you organize this, I would like you to maybe share it.
Definitely, I will share it, and I will definitely look forward to meeting you as well. Now that you've talked about, different people coming from different countries, you yourself have such an inspiring story. I think at 24 years of age, you came from Serbia to US, and your whole story is so inspiring. I know you came from humble beginnings, but there's one story that I read and really intrigued me, and I want you to also verify it for me because internet. So I read that, you helped 2 US women when you were struggling, and those women actually, helped you back build your career in bodybuilding. Is that true?
Even 2 women, yeah. As you
2 American women, yes.
Yeah, there was. I was 23 years old, and I was in Italy competing on the European Championship. And on the way back to Yugoslavia at the time, I was going through Adriatic Sea from Italy to Yugoslavia on the cheapest ticket on the top of the boat, right? Because I didn't have money. And there were 2 American girls, but they were very seasick because they couldn't travel. And as I saw them struggling, I helped them, and we struck the little friendship, and we exchanged the numbers. And they basically told me, if you ever come to the United States, call us. The thing was that, of course, in 1987, back in the day, it was super hard to get a visa to travel to America, number one. But then for a Serbian guy to have enough money to travel, that's another thing, because some people in India can associate when the economy is bad and you can hardly survive, you don't have a commodity of planning the trips and travel and airplane and all that stuff. So this happened that I competed in the Serbian Championship, and I was seen, and a lot of promoters actually wanted to hire me for some guest posing appearances and some commercials. So I made just enough money to get to the United States. But if you heard the whole story, I only had $428.10 in my pocket, and I came with zero English. I mean, not zero, but the Tarzan English, okay? And I didn't have any place to go except for those 2 ladies. There was Tressa Moses and Elisa Baker. They were really my angels. That they helped me initially, right? So, but I wanna share this maybe with some Indian people, because I know that a lot of them are struggling and they don't have enough money. So they would say, I can never be Mr. Universe, a professional bodybuilder, because I don't have enough money. So I was in the exact same situation. I was making very little money, and but I had my priorities. For my healthy eating habits, I needed high protein, and the cheapest protein was here eggs and tuna that you can buy very, very cheap. 60 eggs you can buy for $40. A big can of tuna was less than 10. So there was sufficient amount of protein right there. Rice is very cheap also, right? So I had my carbohydrates and proteins. Okay, I didn't go out. I didn't spend the money on anything. And this is how I trained for Mr. Universe. I came 87. I placed 6th. 88, I improved to the 3rd place. And I was struggling, working hard. I was working from 5 o'clock in the morning until midnight, 6 days a week. Okay, and I mean in that period I could also squeeze my workouts, but there was the tunnel vision that I had. I had to win Mr. Universe, which I did in 1989. I had actually probably you heard me say on one of the journals I put a 5-year plan. In the 5 years, I had to come to the United States, win Mr. Universe, turn IBB professional, qualify for Mr. Olympia, and make a living off of bodybuilding. And I did all that. 89, I won Universe. 91, I qualified for Olympia. 92, I got my endorsement contract. So I'm just saying this for all the Indian listeners to understand that I was not in a better position that you are right now. And I don't have a superior genetics than you do. It's just a matter of, if you're going to make that decision, okay, tunnel vision, work hard work always pays out. If you do everything correct and you check, one day is good, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, you're going to progress, you're going to achieve everything. So I did struggle, quite a bit the first 3 years, but I accomplished my goal in less than 5 years. And everybody is listening to do the same.
I think not just for the bodybuilders, but I also have learned so much. Like just making the goals and being surely dedicated to that. I think that is something people can apply to all aspects of their life, not just for bodybuilders, but anyone should do that. So that's great. Definitely, you talked about training a lot. Now you've retired, and first of all, the physique that you had at the age you are is incredible, and I don't know how you do it, but you do it amazingly. So after retiring, how does your training look like? I'm sure you're still working out. I see videos of you working out. So at 59, how do you work out? How the training regime has changed?
Well, of course, throughout the years when you learn and you get the experience, I do realize that human body is not designed for a super heavy weightlifting. So when we were younger, we were unbreakable and thinking that we can lift the house if it's in front of us. So throughout the years, I did realize that training safer, not pushing crazy amount of weight, because when you go all out, then your whole body goes all out. Not just muscle, but tendon and ligament and joints. So I dramatically reduced the weight, and I'm completely focused on the muscle that I'm training. So it's about muscle stimulation, not about lifting weights. So anybody, women included, because I know that I had some Indian friends into fitness and figure, and a woman that would be shapely, not as muscular. But for them also, I say, if you want to shape up the body, you must feel the muscle. I don't have to tell you which exercise does a certain muscle. You have to feel the muscle when you're doing the exercise, and you're going to know exactly what is this for. Which means whatever you do, squeeze that particular muscle as hard as you can. If it's a glutes or a quads or a hamstring for women or shoulders, or anything for a bodybuilder, chest, back, arms, you got to feel that muscle. And then if you really achieve that superb contraction, there is a difference in the contraction of little bit or more and more and more. So there is maximal contraction. So you should try to exhaust that muscle that you're training by squeezing it so hard. And you'll see, if you apply this next time you go to the gym, whichever exercise you do, don't focus on the movement, focus on the muscle, and then focus on such a strong contraction that within 6, 7, 8 repetitions, you might fail on pretty much no.
Right.
So this is a safe way of training. So how did I change also as I became older? I still eat high protein, but not as high as I used to, because I used to want to be 280 pounds, 120 something kilos. Now it's maintaining this, as an anti-aging muscle tissue is most important tissue. So really for everybody, even in India, they're saying this. You want to prevent aging. Be active, build muscle, maintain that muscle. This is number one rule of health and aging. You see, a lot of people don't give a credits to bodybuilders, but I do think that we have the healthiest diet. And I can assure you that, for example, genetically, many people in my family, unfortunately, are not as healthy because they don't practice healthy eating habits and they don't practice exercising. And that's another example of how I prove it to them with the same genetics. I just did different things. I focus on my health, focus on my physical culture. And I'm almost 60 years old, and I think that I'm in very good shape for a 60-year-old man.
There are no doubts about that. Nobody can tell that you don't look 60. So kudos to you on, still maintaining that. And just to follow up on that, I have a question that what happens when somebody stops, you're a coach. So what happens when somebody stops, working out? They say that, your muscles get loosed up, your body starts reacting. So what actually happens if you stop working out after rigorous training of yours?
Yes, you see, the only reason why you become muscular is because you stimulate that muscle and then you feed it. So, of course, if you stop stimulation of muscle has no longer the reason to stay that big. So slowly, it's not going to happen overnight. But if you completely stop training, body doesn't need that muscle to be that big. You see that hypertrophy and muscle growth occurs because you stimulate one day and second day, and that's physical effort, your muscle damage, mechanical tension. So your body tries to adapt to this physical activity that you are exposing the body to. One day, 1 week, 1 month. So yes, you're building the muscle to make the next workout easier next time. So if you completely stop, for sure, you're going to start losing it. And yeah, you don't necessarily, it's not going to get loose in sense, muscle does not get loose. Muscle gets smaller. What gets loose is if you follow the diet that is higher with calories that you need, then you're going to gain some body fat. So now when you get more body fat and lose muscle mass, of course, body composition changes and you don't look the same. But thinking of, now you're big and then you're going to be loose because muscle is going to get loose. Muscle never gets loose. Muscle is muscle. It just is a small muscle or a big muscle. But so I would say for people that train like I did back in the day, I did to be one of the best bodybuilders. So I went to extreme. But if you just go to be in shape and be healthy, something moderate, something that I'm doing right now, I would say to everybody that is listening, don't ever stop training. I would encourage people that maybe never trained, they start training in the age of 40 and a 50 and a 60 and even older. I'll tell you this, there is a lot of research and studies here in the United States. They would go to the senior citizen homes to pretty much older and patients that immobile, that they didn't really have ability to walk normally and train, that they were very weak and they put them on an exercise program with increased protein intake and they revive. And so think about 7-year-old and 8-year-old start training and actually start building the muscle. It's human physiology. It's human cell. It's going to happen 100%. If you stimulate it and you feed it, it's going to respond. So I know that maybe even in India, there's a lot of people that maybe don't exercise because it's just accepted. Why do I need that? You need it for your longevity and for your health. And this anti-aging principles, because let's face it, you are very young right now, right, Shreya?
Yes.
And right now, you don't even think of old age. It's not feasible. But we all get old.
Yes.
And for all the people, they are right now recognizing, oh my God, I'm 40 already. maybe 50 and 60, which I'm here. Yes, you have to start planning that anti-aging in advance. Start exercising 2-3 times a week. Eat healthy. Increase protein intake, and your body's gonna reward you for it.
Absolutely, I agree. A lot of people, as you correctly said, think that, oh, why do I need to work out? But I think it's more about your lifestyle, that it does not have to be you have to just go and compete in bodybuilding. It's more about having a lifestyle, having a good health that can, last you longer. I totally agree that.
Yes.
Since you talked about me being young and, new, let's talk about the new age bodybuilders. You train so many bodybuilders around the world. So, from your times to now, what major change have you seen in this new age bodybuilder? Something that you see and you see, okay, this is something unusual. They are doing something we did not do.
Well, now, of course, technology is so much greater. I mean, the
Yes.
improvements in every aspect. The gyms supplied with the, modern equipment. They're way more advanced than what we had. I mean, really, literally speaking, right now, if you take, for example, your parents, they never train,
Yes.
and you go to the gym, they can pretty much sit in any of those machines. They're designed so perfectly that you don't even have to know much about exercise physiology. You go into the machine and it's self-explanatory. And then if it's, you're training like this, you can feel your muscle right away. You don't possibly even need a trainer. But for the people that I train, all my athletes, I insist they train with the same intensity we used to train. Which you probably heard some speculation that the older guys like me, we say like we train harder than nowadays. Okay.
Yes, I have.
And we did. I train 6 days a week, twice a day. Okay, twice a day. I average like 550 workouts, just the weight training plus cardio per year for 15 years straight. Now, the times change, and there's a lot of theories of don't do too much, it's overtraining, and now they rely more on these machines that I talk about, right? So
Yes.
machines are great for regular people, right? For people that just want to be in shape, for maximal hypertrophy, for that dense muscular look that Arnold Schwarzenegger had back in the 70s with Sergio Oliva, and then in the 80s, Lee Haney,
Yes.
in the 90s, my generation. That was earned muscle, with the little bit more intense and compound movements, free weights. So I always encourage, every time when a new athlete comes to train with me, if you see on Instagram, they always say, oh, this is the hardest workout ever. That was a regular workout for us. So I don't want to sound bad and say that the new generations don't train as hard, but there is always possibility to do better. Raise the bar.
Yes.
Raise the bar. My theory of training is whatever I do today, okay, it's great. Next time I do the same muscle group, I have to do better. So you have to outdo. That's the progress. And so I do have a lot of young bodybuilders, and as I mentioned, Samson Dauda, Regan Grimes, I'm sure that you guys are familiar with. He is also the diamond in the rough that we want to chisel it into the perfect diamond, flawless diamond. I know that India is there's a lot of jewelry stores and jewelry businesses.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I mean, nowadays with all the supplements they're available, with all the protein powders, amino acids, and creatine, glutamine, beta-alanine, citrulline, specifics that we didn't have back then, you should, in theory, be able to build even more superior physique. And I hope that this is going to start happening. And I would like to see it, like I said, in India. So
yes,
let's hope
definitely
that happens.
Yes. Since you brought up the point of supplements, now it is, steroids, supplements, everything has become more commercialized. When it was earlier, it wasn't as accessible to you guys or, older than you guys. But now it is more common, and, there has been a lot of increase in consumptions, and we're also seeing a lot of health issues increased in bodybuilders. So do you think that there has been, unnecessary pushing of supplements and steroids, or is it still balanced? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you see, I mean, supplements is one thing, and what you mentioned, steroids are completely different.
Yes.
Steroids are hormones. Supplements, nutritional supplements are healthy. It just supplements your diet for your physical performance of choice. If you need endurance, if you need strength, explosiveness, you need a hypertrophy. That's why we take particular ones. So, sports supplementation is very, very, very helpful. When you touch the subject of the steroids, that's a touchy subject because instantly, and I'm sure that right now, you or anybody in India would say, steroids, oh, that's dangerous, that's unhealthy, it's bad.
Yes.
And that's completely a wrong way of thinking. Anabolic steroids, the word anabolic means constructive metabolism. So if you focus on this, that's a building and not breaking down. So for all these old people, injured people, reconvalescent after the surgeries, I was a 4-degree burn patient, for cachexia, HIV, muscle wasting diseases. For catabolic patients, there are medicaments, called anabolic steroids, that doctors give them to get them out of their catabolism. So this is what they are. But because when you use them, you get bigger and stronger and recover, and you become physically superior, they are considered doping, as a doping is not ethical for people that use and people that do not use. That's that stigma that maybe you guys have to clarify. What is it? Doping, is this unhealthy? It's not. If used correctly, doping is going to make you, dope. You're going to be bigger, stronger, faster, more aggressive, everything. It's not going. The abuse is what is wrong. And then, from ethical standpoint, of course, if I use it, you don't use it, I have advantage. And in sports, that's not correct. That's why it's being tested.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, in my sport, it's extremes of doping usage, and abuse can always bring health issues, unfortunately. And this is because of incorrect usage, too much, too long, wrong.
I agree. Got it.
Because I just want to tell you this: you're looking at the 60-year-old man, that this is probably not going to be received very well in India, but it's the truth. I used anabolic steroids for 33 years, okay? And for 33 years, I never regretted a single day, and I never had a single health issue. Right. And so on that note, it would be sounding like I'm promoting it. But yes, if under doctor supervision, hormonal usage for many people, especially men, can enhance their health and physical abilities.
I think, as you correctly said, under doctor's supervision, I think that is one thing that is very important for all of us to understand. As long as, we have the right knowledge about consuming anything, I think that is correctly, something that we can take. And I think coming from you now, there will be a lot more awareness about it, and people won't, take it in a wrong way. Taking it lightly under doctor supervision, I think that is something that people should go about. Abusing it is wrong, as you said correctly.
Yes, I don't know how it's in India, if you guys have this rejuvenation clinics and testosterone or hormone replacement therapy clinics, because we all face older age, right? And as our hormones are naturally declining with age, that is accepted that replacing them is okay, you see. So this is how you go about it. So should you replace it earlier or later? This is up to the people. Like I said, I used it for 33 years, and I'm very, very healthy. The only thing that I'm not healthy, I mean, it was interesting. You mentioned in a text message, how's my health? My health is affected by the COVID, because I did receive 2 vaccines and 2 boosters, and I still had COVID 4 times. But I'm traveling. I'm in touch with a lot of people. Last 3 Mr. Olympias, every time after Mr. Olympia, I got COVID. And it's probably interacting with hundreds of people from all over the world,
Yes.
But this is it. But just to clarify that, because maybe this article could trigger some controversy, and then some doctors would be like, oh my God, what he's saying. I would challenge all these doctors for any debate if it's healthy or not healthy, because keep in mind, like you're the young lady, you don't understand. There is something called metabolism, anabolism, and catabolism, right? So when you focus and just Google those words, catabolism is breaking down, which is very dangerous and bad, unhealthy. Anabolism is the opposite, building up. And how can building something, build the muscle tissue, stronger immune system, stronger organism, be unhealthy? So, taking too much aspirin or vitamin C or a water, most common things, if abused, you can kill yourself with all 3. So, that's to keep in mind.
No, definitely. I got to know a lot of new things today. It's very enlightening, and definitely coming a little to your experience in bodybuilding, and you have seen a lot of bodybuilders. You yourself competed. I am sure this is one of the most cliche questions, but I have to ask from one of the greatest bodybuilders, who, according to you, you can also take your name, of course, is the greatest bodybuilder of all time.
Okay. I would have to say it is Ronnie Coleman. It is Ronnie Coleman when you consider everything. All the great champions. I mean, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger made bodybuilding what it is. It's so popular. With Joe either bring him. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is such an icon, and he is the first one to win 7 Mr. Olympias and all that stuff. But when you say bodybuilder, I still have to compare bodies. And as a body, if I would be the judge, the best of Mr. Olympias in their best years on the stage at the same time, I would say that Ronnie Coleman, is the best for sure.
Definitely, he is one of the best. I would definitely agree to that.
You say one of the best. You didn't say he's the best there. So who is the best for you?
I'm a little biased toward Arnold, I would say. But it's because Arnold is, someone who has brought bodybuilding into the talks, and he's the one started. But goes without saying, Ronnie Coleman's body, as you correctly said, when we say bodybuilders, it's about body. But when I look at bodybuilders, it's, for me, I see the storylines and everything, and this is my personal opinion. Of course, you know a lot more than me, but I personally feel Arnold is my favorite.
This is correct. If you can say one word and then one person that associates with the word, with that word.
Yes.
And anybody on planet Earth, if they say bodybuilding, and you can say only one name, it will have to be Schwarzenegger.
That is Arnold.
I mean, 99% of the people are going to say that. He's a special human. It's Arnold Classic happening in 2 weeks. Actually, I'm going to go there. Hopefully, I'm going to see Arnold. And,
yes.
It's interesting to mention.
Yes, definitely. Even Sergio, I would like to take also his name. He was also one of the people I really liked, his body as well. So because we were talking about physique, and you live in America, so I had a very intriguing question. So you see a lot of athletes some bodybuilders like Arnold, but also like athletes like Dwayne Johnson. All of these guys have went into Hollywood, and then now we have people like Chris Hemsworth, who are a lot into bodybuilding. So in Hollywood, is there any physique that you as a huge bodybuilder feel that fascinates you? Someone's body, not Arnold, of course, he's the greatest bodybuilder of time, but any Hollywood stars whose physique you think is someone can come up to Mr. Olympia and actually be on that level.
Well, it's hard to say on that level. You see,
but,
yeah, Rock, of course, is everybody's favorite. Rock has this, the physique. He was a WWE competitor, and he's training probably harder than most of the Mr. Olympia. It's just, for his roles, I think they keep him as big as he should be, because if you want to get bigger, they would tell you not to. So if you remember the story, they told Arnold Schwarzenegger that he cannot be in Hollywood unless he goes down to like 210 pounds, and then he had to come down. Then there was like two bodybuilders, if you follow, Kevin Lebroni and Gunther Schirickham. They try in Hollywood. Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to help them, and the major thing was to lose the muscle. You see, this is that one thing. When you look at Superman, and then nowadays you look at Spider-Man, right? That's the difference from a superhero look and a new age superhero. But I really admire Rock. I love his physique. As a matter of fact, I would love to train him for 6 months. And see what I could do with his physique. I mean, it would be a different level. Maybe he's going to get the role to play some bodybuilder, and then I could jump in.
Yes, definitely. I agree on the Rock part. Definitely, he has one of the best bodies in Hollywood. But
who do you think is the best bodies in Hollywood? Yeah, I didn't think. Who for you has the best body?
Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth has the best body according to me.
Okay.
But Rock is definitely more huge. But Chris, I feel like, is someone who's has a fascinating body. So yeah, definitely.
Very good.
One last question that I have for you. Second last question, actually. I'll just quickly ask this. What are your thoughts on female bodybuilding? We're seeing, the development, Miss Olympia. We're seeing a lot of female. But we don't see a lot, famous as of course male bodybuilders. So do you think that female bodybuilders are coming up, or if how things have changed for female bodybuilders over the years?
I mean, unfortunately, they're not going to like what I have to say, because I don't think that women should be as muscular. I never supported female bodybuilding. That's like in male bodybuilding, we were touching a subject. Do you want to be freak, or you want to be a bodybuilder? Freak factor, mass monster, or you want to be a bodybuilder? So the female, to be muscular and shapely is the one thing, okay? And you can still be in a nice shape and still feminine. But when you go to this freak factor of muscularity on a female body, I don't agree. I respect, I have some athletes and I have some friends. And I know, that's their choice. Look, we all have choices. For me, as a man, of course, I would not be attracted to a woman that has more muscle than I myself, right? And, that's extremes. But you've seen different levels. You have a bikini, you have a figure, you have a wellness, and you have categories that are very popular among women. I'm always supportive over women being in shape, muscle tone, right? But having extreme level of muscularity, that's not feminine, so I don't support it.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Because we're running short on time, what is my last question for you is that, I know you are training Samson, but if not Samson, who do you think has the best chances of winning, Arnold Classic 2023?
Andrew Jack. Andrew Jack is...
Andrew Jack.
Yeah.
6'2", yes.
Yes, he is a phenomenal bodybuilder. Has that structure. Has a, there is no way, and this you can do the test, which would be interesting in India. If you put the pictures of everybody that's going to compete, how many normal Indian people, they're not in the bodybuilding, is going to say, "Oh, this looks good. This doesn't look good." I'm sure that you put the picture of Andrew Jack, that anybody, you can test yourself to get 10 of your friends, 100, thousands of readers. Who can possibly not like Andrew Jack? It's like that cartoon character, like Superman. That's what he looks like.
Yes.
Everything is there, beautiful shape. Wow. Okay, and then if you put, guys, I don't want to mention the names, but you know who I'm thinking of, two that just extremely muscular. A lot of people, and probably a lot of women, are going to be turned off and say, "Ooh, I don't like it." But I think that man should be muscular, of course, and he should be shapely. And Andrew Jack, besides Samson Dauda, and then my other athlete, Regan Grimes, for me, that's bodybuilding. That's what the future of bodybuilding should be.
Absolutely agreed. And we'll just close it on the fact that you said bigger is not better. It's more about conditioning. And thank you so much, Milos, for your time. And this was such an enlightening session. And I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot of new things to learn from you today. And thank you for giving us your precious time.
You're very welcome.
Hope you enjoyed.
If you ever have a need to do it again at a later date, you know where to find me. Okay?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.